What's up, San Antonio? It's your girl, JJ, going live on Facebook during this COVID-19 year. I'm going to be talking a little bit about sports, music, things going on in San Antonio, and even a special guest or two may pop in. Feel free to share, comment throughout the show, and I hope you enjoy. That is true. I do hope you enjoy. And yes, we got another very special guest. My cousin Aaron's joining me again. Love it when he joins me. But before we kick off this show, I do want to say one thing. Today's show, we are going to honor somebody, Aaron. Somebody very close to you, your Nana, Margaret Quintanilla. This show will be dedicated to her today. Obviously your grandmother, your great-grandmother.
Great-grandmother.
Yeah, and your other great-grandma, King, who this show is named after, were very good friends, los comadres. So we got some many cool stories with that. But today we will definitely dedicate this to Miss Quintanilla, your Nana. Very fond memories of her. I know we both have some pretty amazing stories we could probably go on and on with. But this show goes out to her. So everybody listening on the Quintanilla side or the Rycheks or the Oppers and whoever else may be listening, all our family members who are related somehow, this definitely goes out to Miss Quintanilla. And of course, February is their birthday month. She would have turned, 98?
98 years old yesterday.
98 years old yesterday. And I think Grandma King, if I'm doing the math right, would have turned like 100 and something. But just shared a birthday in February. And now I know for sure they are dancing in heaven together, celebrating their birthday. So Miss Quintanilla, we're thinking of you always. So this is dedicated to you. Aaron, let's start off. I know we talked about having a podcast and a major one this week. Houston, we have a problem.
I wanted to do this on video as opposed to putting out a statement or doing a press conference or anything like that, because I want you guys to hear it directly from me. I want to speak directly to you and the city of Houston so you can hear the words straight from my mouth. I have sat down with the McNair family and I have asked them for my release. And we have mutually agreed to part ways at this time. I came here 10 years ago as a kid from Wisconsin who'd never really been to Texas before. And now I can't imagine my life without Texas in it. The way that you guys have treated me, besides draft night, I mean, you guys booed me on draft night, but every day after that, you treated me like family. And I truly feel like you're my family. Since that day, I have tried to do everything in my power to work and earn your respect and try and make you proud on and off the field. You guys have given me everything and more, and I can only hope that you feel like I've given you everything I have. The city of Houston's been unbelievable to me. It's where I met my wife. It's where I've met lifelong friends and my teammates. I've had incredible coaches and training staff and equipment staff and cafeteria workers and the weight room staff and the front office people and people on the streets, people in restaurants and grocery stores and showing up at my house. The connection is special, and I will never, ever take that for granted because I know how rare it is. I'm excited and looking forward to a new opportunity, and I've been working extremely hard. But at the same time, it is always tough to move on. And I just want you guys to know that I love you. I appreciate you. I appreciate the McNair family for giving me, drafting me and giving me my first opportunity in the NFL. Thank you, Houston. I love you.
All right, Aaron. Well, there it was. Your favorite Texan, everybody's favorite Texan.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it, man. Heartfelt.
Well, JJ was a class act up till the very end. I mean, with this organization, he came in. It was during the lockout. Everything, he didn't have to do a lot of the things that he did, but he came in and he wanted to make a point to be more than just a football player right off the bat. It hurts, but I can tell you that I don't think anybody in Houston, anybody that's a Texans fan, is upset with JJ in any way, shape, or form. He's royalty in Houston. the things that he did during Harvey, the things he's done with the Berry children, everything that he's done in the city of Houston, we can never, be mad at him for wanting to leave, wanting to do some things. It's just, it's a shame that the organization has gone to that point, because I'm pretty sure if there was a better leadership, then JJ would probably want to be a Texan for life. That was the kind of player he is. He was extremely loyal. He was extremely, giving to the community. And the fact that it got to that point, it's sad. But I wish JJ the best of luck. I hope he can go somewhere where he can be successful and he can earn the ring that he deserves. And because there's not a lot of athletes like him out there that truly deserve everything that he has.
That's right. And I don't know. I mean, it started back with a trade, your best wide receiver, and he's gone. Your coaching issue. Now JJ Watt. Does Deshaun Watson follow in his footsteps?
I think so. And honestly, JJ asked for a release and they immediately do it. Deshaun is asking for a trade and they're saying, we're not going to trade him. You've already shown that certain people in your organization are more important than your franchise quarterback, than your star player. Probably, I put JJ up there with, Hakeem and Ryan and Earl and Biggio and all these stars that have come through Houston that we love and we put on the pedestal here in Houston. I put JJ there, and you're gonna – I like that they respected his wishes and, immediately granted his request. But now it's looking more and more like they're holding Deshaun Watson hostage, and it's only going to get uglier.
Yeah, I don't understand what they're thinking. I mean, you want to have that franchise player. You want to have those multiple franchise players. And JJ Watt is so important to Houston. Like, he's beloved to Houston. That's like getting rid of Emmitt Smith and Troy Aikman of the Cowboys. Mm-hmm. And why would you do that? That's your community guy. He holds your team together regardless, just by his examples he was setting during the season, trying to rally his team when they were playing horrible, when they just couldn't get it together. He's the one out there getting on them and being the face and trying to hold it together and make him stronger. And just to see him, get released and, obviously they're not treating him right. Does he rejoin his brothers in Pittsburgh?
I don't know exactly. Obviously I think there's a few routes that need to be taken. Mm-hmm. He could be going to join his brothers in Pittsburgh. He could go home to Wisconsin and play for the Packers. He could go to Chicago and, be able to live with his wife up in Chicago because she plays soccer for the women's soccer team in Chicago. I think that he's not going to rush into anything. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to be wanting his services. I mean, since he's joined the league, he's been one of, if not the best defensive lineman in the NFL. I mean, he's a special player that any team would be lucky to have. And the only team I hope he doesn't go to is the Cowboys. But, I want him to go somewhere where he can be successful because he deserves it. And, if I was a player on the Texans, I'd want to get out of there too, because they might be the worst run team in American sports right now.
I saw where he, is going to have some talks with Jerry Jones coming up. I don't think he'll be a good fit for Dallas, but hey, Dallas needs some help too. I mean, their quarterback issue is, is he coming back or not from an injury? Zeke was kind of a bust this season. But to kind of set that tone on the defensive end, I think JJ Watt would be great for the Dallas Cowboys, but I just don't see that going. Anyway.
I think JJ wants to go somewhere to win, and right now that's not in Dallas.
No, it's not. But can you see him with the Tampa Bay team?
Absolutely. I mean, they already have a powerhouse front four and JJ would just, improve it on so many levels. There's so many places that I could see him in, and it's going to be really interesting to see where he goes. I don't know if he's going to get the contract that he had with the Texans, just with his injuries and everything like that. I just don't know if anybody's going to be willing to give him that kind of money. But I also don't think that he's the kind of guy to worry about that. He wants to go and win, and I think that's what it's going to come down to. Where can JJ go that he's going to win?
Yeah, and on the backside of this, the sad thing was I did hear some stories that it was stemming from his wife and her soccer deal that she had with the Houston soccer team. Of course, so many other great players have declined playing in the Houston soccer league because of, some issues with management. And I really hope, this wasn't part of that as well, because I know Christian Press, an amazing soccer player, declined altogether on coming to Houston and playing for the ownership there. She, made it very distinctly that she did not want to play for them. So, it's kind of sad if it has to do with his wife and her leaving to Chicago. Obviously, when Kristen Press left, she got drafted, by Houston and then went on to Chicago as well. So it's kind of a weird fit, if that has something to do with it. But if it does, wow, I cannot believe Houston. They really, really have a problem with all their kind of sports organizations right now. And Aaron, I feel sorry for you because you love your Houston teams and they're falling apart right now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of interesting to see. I can't wait for the ESPN 30 for 30 to come out about this last year in Houston sports, because it's been a doozy. Right now, my most dependable sports team right now is the U of H Cougars basketball team. And we'll see. I just need baseball to start.
We do need baseball to start. We need baseball to start bad. I'm surprised my bestie Missy hasn't posted her MLB countdown till the season starts. But yeah, it goes back to basketball too. The whole thing with James Harden. I didn't want him to go to the Brooklyn Nets. I faithfully did not want him to go to the Brooklyn Nets. He's there. He's starting off looking like his old, Oklahoma City time, and I'm kind of grateful for it, but then in a way I'm afraid it's going to turn into that Houston drama again pretty soon, but does he win a championship with Brooklyn and then it kind of changes from there? Who knows? I don't know, but I really feel bad for the Houston community right now. Their sports teams are letting them down, and hopefully with this MLB season around the corner, maybe we can start to look at some things getting on the brighter side of things for sports.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh. All right, man. Let's talk a little bit NFL. Obviously, they had a combine and getting ready for some stuff going on with that. Super Bowl as well. You picked the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, I was a little off with that one.
I picked the New Orleans Saints. Of course, your Packers beat the Saints, but actually Tampa Bay beat the Saints. Correct? So, let's talk about that. That was kind of we knew Tom Brady would pull something off. I didn't think he'd win the Super Bowl.
When they got to the Super Bowl, I couldn't bet against them.
True.
It wasn't as much as when they got there. I wasn't sure if they were going to win. I wasn't sure if they were going to get there. Aaron Rodgers obviously was the MVP of the year of the league this year, and I really, really thought that they were going to be a tough out in Lambeau. But Tampa Bay found a way. Their defense really, really stepped up, and I think it took a lot of pressure off of the offense and Tom Brady, which they had a very talented offense already. A lot of superstar weapons with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, Leonard Fournette, Ronald Jones, Gronk. They have such a talented offense where at times it just seems that it wasn't working for them throughout the season. But with the defense playing at the way they did towards the end, it took a lot of pressure off of them, and they kind of noticed they didn't really need the big play. They didn't need, to really force anything. They just played their game. And it ended with the Lombardi Trophy.
It did. And throwing it to each other from boat to boat. Did you see that?
Yeah. But I think it would have been funny if it fell. But it was a heck of a toss. I mean, I saw it from both angles. Watched the videos. I saw something that the creator of the Lombardi Trophy's daughter got upset about it, and I was like, they're just having fun. If I won a Super Bowl, if I won a World Series, I'd be doing stupid stuff like that also. So, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty scary, but yeah, I guess if you win like what 6 or 7 or 8, as many as Tom Brady has, who cares, right?
Yeah.
Buy another one or win another one for his chance. But Trevor Lawrence, let's talk about him. Where do you think he goes in the draft?
I don't think there's any way he doesn't go number 1 overall. He's been, since he was a freshman, he's been, projected to go number 1 overall. He's been one of the most highly touted prospects coming out of college in a long time. And I think Jacksonville would be stupid to not take him. Obviously, they don't have a solid franchise quarterback. Trevor Lawrence has the look. He has the ability. He has the arm. He has everything that you want in a franchise quarterback. And, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. It happens all the time. But, I find it very hard to believe that Trevor Lawrence isn't going to be successful in the NFL. But, yeah, I don't see any way he doesn't go number 1 overall.
Okay, so my next bet is, how long does it take him to cut his hair?
Ooh. I don't think he cuts it. That's kind of become his thing, and I like it. It's sunshine. So, I mean,
sunshine. Yep.
So, especially if he's going to be down in Florida, he's not cutting that hair anytime soon.
Wow. Well, I mean, I hope he does go, pretty high. I know he probably will. Do you think there's any spontaneous trades right before?
I mean, people have been talking about it. Texans maybe trading Deshaun Watson for a shot at one of those first couple of picks. With draft night, you never know until it actually happens. I hate listening to experts do their mock drafts and all this stuff, because really nobody knows what's going to happen but the people in the war rooms for each NFL franchise.
I don't know. I mean, that's kind of scary, but you think back to JJ Watt's career, 2011, 11th pick, does get booed. Do you see the Texans going any higher this season with these trades? If any?
I mean, really, their only chance at moving into a top 10 pick is going to be trading Deshaun Watson. They're saying that they're not trading Deshaun Watson, but I wish that he would get out of Houston. I truly, seeing this whole scenario play out, I want Deshaun Watson out of Houston, and not because I dislike Deshaun Watson, because I like Deshaun Watson. I want him to go be somewhere else where he can be himself, and not have to play under the ownership who really doesn't know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Cal McNair has really run the franchise into the ground, and not that we were way successful before that, but the Texans were actually on a pretty solid incline and going through some runs of success. And in the last 2 years, it's just all come crumbling down. So I wish they would just, rip off the Band-Aid. Let Deshaun Watson go. Get yourself some draft picks. Try to start building for the future. I'd also wish that the McNairs would sell the team, but that's a whole nother story that I don't have any control over anyway. So, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. I feel so bad for JJ Watt. I didn't want to see him leave, but definitely had the opportunity to watch him play many games in Houston, and everything he's done for you guys. I know so much you guys have been appreciative of his doing. So to be able to know him and know, he set a good example in Houston for everybody, and he will be deeply, deeply missed in Houston. I know that. But you know what? Let's go on to baseball. Obviously, our favorite sport. James Paxton getting traded or making a return to the Marlins. Actually, what do you think about that?
You know, he didn't really do much in New York. Aside from a couple games here and there, he wasn't. He wasn't super incredible or outstanding in New York. I think going back to the Mariners and being where he started, where he was successful, could help a lot. The Mariners have a few young, talented players coming up. I mean, they had this year's AL Rookie of the Year, but we'll see. You know, with the Yankees signing Kluber, they had to make a change in that rotation. They had to fill a spot or get rid of a spot, I should say. And you know, Paxton was that guy.
Yeah. I mean, aside from your best player, I still say your best player leaving Houston, where do you think Houston ends up this season?
You know, I still think that they're going to win the AL West. You know, the AL West isn't super, super tough. The Rangers are in a massive rebuild right now. The A's just lost some key players, including their closer and Liam Hendricks. You know, the Angels, they have Mike Trout, they have Anthony Rendon, but they're not showing that they can be a really good team. You know, the Mariners, again, they're just young, and you don't really know where they're going to be at yet. So I think with the loss of Springer, it's definitely going to hurt. You don't have that lightning rod at the top of the lineup that really gets things going. But I think they're going to be okay. You know, I still think that they're one of the best teams in the American League. You know, they've proven that they've been one of the best teams in the American League for the last 3-4 years. And, you know, I'd like to see Altuve get healthy for this season because obviously he was having some injury issues. He was having some throwing issues. Carlos Correa, I'd like to see him improve on an already outstanding postseason. He hasn't had a regular season that has really stood out, but in the postseason is where he does a lot of his damage. Alex Bregman, again, I think he could come out and have an MVP type season. There's still the pieces there. Yes, you lost some stuff. Yes, you don't have Verlander this season with his injuries, but I'm really excited to watch these young pitchers that we had last year and see what they can do in a full season. Anoli Paredes, Framber Valdez. I mean, I really like these guys coming in, and I'm really anxious to see what they can do this year.
Jake Arrieta going back to the Cubs or trying to stay with the Cubs and get a new deal. Do you think he still got it?
It's tough to say. With pitchers, you know, they could go and have a terrible year and then come back strong. I mean, you saw it with Verlander when he got to Houston. He became old Verlander, and that's not saying that he wasn't, you know, good before that and before he got to Houston. It's just he was definitely not himself those last couple years in Detroit. And you just see an awakening. You saw an awakening with him when he was with Houston. Jake Arrieta, he had a lot of success in Chicago. You know, he's familiar with the Cubs. He's familiar with the organization. And, you know, I wouldn't be surprised to see him be successful in Chicago once again. I mean, we are talking about a former Cy Young Award winner. And, you know, you just never know. And I hope he does well because he is a lot of fun to watch when he's at the top of his game.
Is this the year again where it's nothing but pitchers moving around? I mean, you have Rich Hill. I mean, I don't know. It seems like it's the year of the pitchers this year to be the ones on the move.
Yeah, you know, I feel like everybody is kind of wants to stick with their lineups, especially the teams at the top. You're not really seeing a lot of shuffling of the big bats. Pitching is going to be it is always very important. And you know, I saw the other day that the MLB is actually kind of deadening the baseballs for this year because of the home run surge that we've seen. So. I mean, I don't understand doing that because obviously what gets people in the seats is the long ball. And, you know, it's going to be interesting to see. I know the pitchers are happy about it because I know they've had some issues with, thinking the ball is juiced and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, pitchers are always a hot commodity, and we'll see what happens.
And now with Trevor Bauer, going to the Dodgers, do you think the Dodgers repeat, especially, with, coming off obviously the World Series win, but with Turner and everybody else coming back, do you think they repeat?
I wouldn't count them out. I think on paper, they are the best team in baseball right now. It's going to be very tough to beat them. I do like San Diego as well to kind of compete with them. I think I think having the star power of the Dodgers is going to help this young San Diego team play better. I don't think they're going to, beat them out for the division or possibly beat them this year in the playoffs or anything like that, because the Dodgers are going to be extremely tough. I mean, they kept all their stars and then they added another one. So they're going to be very tough. But oftentimes, I say this all the time, the best team does not always win in baseball. And, one of the things that I love about it, you have to play every out. And so you can't say for sure until it happens. And people are the Dodgers have a target on their back and they know it. It's extremely hard to repeat. There's a reason it hasn't been done since the Yankees. And so I'm afraid of the Dodgers, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they mess up and get knocked off.
So I know you're not a fan of the Yankees, but do you think Brett Gardner stays with the Yankees?
Ooh, I honestly haven't seen much about it. Brett Gardner has been with the Yankees forever. It's hard to believe he's still playing because I feel like he's been there for 25, 30 years. Yep. But I feel Brett Gardner, honestly, it would be kind of weird to see Brett Gardner somewhere else. But at the same time, there's not really a spot for him in New York. I mean, that outfield is stacked. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I really like Aaron Hicks a lot, and he's not a superstar, but I love it. I love that he's a switch hitter. He's really good. He's pretty good defensively in the outfield, mm-hmm. and he can hit for power. And I think if I'm looking at who would I rather have over Brett Gardner or Aaron Hicks, I'm taking Aaron Hicks every time.
Yep, definitely. I mean, granted, Grady's got a great bat, but it tends to slow down when you get a little older. That doesn't come off as quick anymore. But I am proud Brett Gardner fan, but I think it's time to call it quits. And I hate to see him go, but yeah, I think it's about that time. All right, Aaron, let's switch over. NBA. NBA is one of our main sports. I know we both love it and love to talk about it, but Houston obviously hanging in there in the 13th seed, but their defense has really picked up since the Harden, trade.
Yeah, I think the emergence of Christian Wood has been incredible to watch. When we signed him, I didn't know a ton about Christian Wood, and I don't think a lot of Houston knew a lot about Christian Wood, but he's turned into a fun guy to watch and a great player for our team. And I feel that him and Boogie and Wall and Oladipo, they've kind of meshed together. One of my favorite quotes with DeMarcus Cousins was like, we want guys that want to be here. Mm-hmm. And if you don't want to be here, then leave. And so I think obviously Christian Wood is having some injury problems. I think he has a sprained ankle right now, which honestly looked a lot worse than what it ended up being. I'm interested to see what they can do. There's also a lot of talk about, the Rockets possibly trading Oladipo at the trade deadline. But I'm kind of enjoying watching them play. They look like they're having fun. Which is something I haven't seen in a while. Definitely pre-Harden trade, I didn't see it all. But the Rockets kind of have to understand that they're not going to be competing for a Western Conference championship this year, and go from there. I mean, it's almost like a rebuild, but we're not starting from the bottom.
What has impressed you most about John Wall? I mean, I know he didn't want to leave where he was, but man, I mean, he came here and it seems like he's kind of gelling really well.
Yeah, like I said, he's having fun. It looks like he's having fun, and he's healthy. And I think he came to Houston with a chip on his shoulder, saying, I can still do this. I can still be one of the top point guards in the NBA. And he's showing that. And as long as he stays healthy, I don't think there's any stopping him from continuing this run that he's on.
Yeah, they fell short yesterday, obviously, to the New York Knicks, 121-99. But, they play against Washington, they play Philadelphia, and they play Dallas. Another team that I just feel has some issues right now, too. I mean, they just don't look competitive. They're sitting at the 9th seed, but they look like they're just struggling.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of it has been just the inconsistency of Kristaps Porzingis.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't been producing on a consistent level, and Luka just can't carry that weight on his own. He's a great player, don't get me wrong, but he's not able to carry every day. He's going to put up his numbers, but at the same time, he needs a lot of help. I think the other night they had him and Kristaps had, I think they both scored 35 plus in the same game. So they need the production out of their two stars every night to really be successful.
Yeah, you talk about that game that they both scored. It was an 82 points high for them two combined.
Mm-hmm.
Over the Pelicans, 143. I think it was like 143 to 130. And I mean, I remember watching a game with Golden State and Dallas, and Luka just looked worn out. I mean, he looked like he was at the end wanted to cry because he just can't keep carrying the load. He's not Dirk Nowitzki. I don't think they're ever going to have a player like Dirk again, but they need to do something. They need to make some trades. They need to get some other support around this kid if they want to win a championship.
Yeah, I mean, Luka is extremely talented. He's going to, win an MVP, multiple MVPs.
Mm-hmm.
It's just he's so young right now, and he's not even in his prime yet. And he definitely needs help because he's not getting it from the rest of his team.
Do you see him in a Dallas Maverick uniform in 4 years?
It's hard to say. I think it really depends on what Dallas is able to do in the next couple of years. If they're able to constantly improve and build around him, then, yes, in 4 years, I think he will be there. But if they don't find a way to build around him, he might, be ready to leave.
Dallas right now is playing Portland 49-49 in the second quarter. They play again on the 17th versus the Pistons. And then, of course, they play Houston on February 19th. So we will see if they stay in that top bubble of the at least 7 through 10 area or if they drop down. I really want to see Houston move up a little bit. I think their defense is going to get there. I think John Wall is going to figure it out and really kind of get Houston over that threshold. The Spurs, surprisingly, sitting at number 6 in the Western Conference. These young kids, man, they've had a few years together, went to the bubble, and came back with some energy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you see that a lot, especially with young teams. They start off really strong. What's going to be interesting, obviously we have a shortened season this year, but can they sustain that? And especially when, other teams might go on a few runs, and can they sustain their play style and really make a push for the playoffs? Because honestly, I don't think anybody expected to see San Antonio in this situation this year.
No, not in the top 6, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Would they be, falling behind in that A seed, barely hanging on, 9 or 10? Definitely. But to be where they are right now in seed number 6, I don't think anybody expected them to be there. They obviously just kind of started the rodeo road trip. They beat Atlanta yesterday. They're playing Charlotte today, which they're tied in the third. They play Detroit, Cleveland, New York, Indiana, OKC. That rodeo road trip is kind of crazy for them, but they get through it every year, and it seems like every time they meet for the rodeo road trip, they do a lot better hanging in there. Utah Jazz sitting at number 1. What have you thought over the Lakers?
Honestly, Utah has been on the up and up for the last couple of years. They have a lot of talent with Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert. They obviously were the team that kind of started the whole COVID stuff last year, and it looks like they've gotten past that because they're playing really good basketball right now. But at the same time, LeBron and the Lakers are going to find a way to, start playing some better basketball. But it would be kind of nice to see somebody outside of California be that top spot in the conference.
It would be. Number 3, the Clippers. Do you think Kawhi Leonard and company hang on? Or do you think injuries come and we're back to, falling apart right before playoffs?
That's a possibility. I'm still surprised that they got rid of Doc Rivers. I still can't believe it to now, and it's been almost a year. The Clippers, they always find a way of disappointing people.
Mm-hmm.
You think back to when they had Chris Paul and Blake Griffin and Lob City and stuff like that, and everybody thought that they were going to do something, and they fell short again.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of those things where maybe the team is cursed. Maybe it doesn't matter who they have, they're gonna choke at some point. I don't know, but it's interesting because Kawhi has such a great track record of succeeding in the playoffs. He did it with San Antonio. He did it with the Raptors, and I think Paul George more so than Kawhi has something that he needs to prove, and that's that he can continue his play at a high level when it gets further into the season and they're really looking for their stars to compete.
Who do you think wins Rookie of the Year?
Right now, I would probably go with LaMelo. I mean, the kid's playing on another level, and I don't think anybody's surprised to see it because I remember when Lonzo was getting ready to be drafted, everybody was like, wait till you see his baby brother. Wait till you see his baby brother. Mm-hmm. And, obviously there's some stuff that can happen that can shift. But I think right now the race is between Ball and Edwards. And it's going to really come down to who can finish the season better.
Mm-hmm. And right now with Charlotte sitting at number 6, obviously 13-14 record. Do you see them moving any higher than that? Obviously, Philadelphia now has Doc Rivers. They're sitting at the number 1 seed. Makes you wonder if, it wasn't Doc Rivers the issue in Clipper Nation, but Milwaukee, Brooklyn, Indiana, Boston, then Charlotte. Do you see them moving any higher than that?
I think there's room to move higher. I think the top 3 aren't, there might be some movement between the top 3, but I don't think they're really going to drop from those top 3 spots. Mm-hmm. The East, we all know, isn't the most, it's not as competitive as the West, or I should say, it's not as star powerful as the West. Mm-hmm. But, there's some really good teams there. The Heat were obviously in the finals last year, and they're still a very talented team. But, I think they could possibly jump into 5, maybe 4. But we'll just see. They have to continue to play at the same level.
Just when you think Derrick Rose is, ending his career, goes to the Knicks. Do you think he can really help them get back to the playoff spots?
Possibly. I mean, Derrick Rose, since he's been healthy the last couple of years, he's shown that he can still be the player that he was when he was in Chicago. And it's been kind of fun to see. He's not the superstar that he once was, but I think from a leadership standpoint, can help a very young New York team. Now, at the same time, the Knicks have a knack of not really being what they're supposed to be either. But I think the leadership of Derrick Rose can help a young New York team a lot.
Definitely. Well, this season is kind of a strange one. I mean, obviously some stadiums have fans, some don't. San Antonio doesn't have fans. Houston has fans. Do you think we go back to that bubble type for the playoffs?
I think it's a possibility. Hopefully in a couple months' time, it's the COVID pandemic is, on a lighter note. I sincerely hope so, because I'm really, really tired of it. But hopefully it doesn't have to be that way again. The NBA did a fantastic job with the NBA bubble and the playoffs and everything they did last season. But I don't think anybody in the NBA doesn't want to have fans there if they can. It's just such a better environment. Being in a playoff atmosphere as a fan is extremely fun and a whole different experience than being at a regular season game. But at the same time, I think when it comes down to it, you have to protect your players first. And if the NBA decides that they're going to do a bubble again, they're going to do a bubble again.
Now, I know I saw your Facebook feed on it, but let's talk about Tiger Woods' documentary. Greatest golfer of all time. And we got to see behind the scenes footage that we never, ever would have thought. I definitely would not have. And if you haven't seen it, I'm sorry, people, but Tiger Woods 2-part series, you got to check it out. But let's talk about it, Aaron. I mean, did you ever think Tiger Woods' dad was a womanizer and was, as bad as he was?
I mean, it surely seemed that way. Let me just start off by saying HBO did such a fantastic job with it. I mean, I'm sure you watched The Last Dance. I think we all did.
I did.
It was on that level of greatness that we were watching. It was just so well produced. Everybody knew the relationship that Tiger had with his father and how his father really built Tiger into what he became. But we didn't really see that darker side of Tiger's childhood.
Nope.
And especially part one, mostly about his childhood and his rise and everything like that, where part two kind of was on the back end, where the scandal and everything came out, and his injuries and stuff like that. But you kind of understood what Tiger really went through and what was going through his head. And some people view that as as almost betraying Tiger to an extent, but it's extremely important to the story. His father being a womanizer, doing all these things, being extremely strict with him, and finally growing up to where he's his own person and he has money and people know his name, and he goes and starts doing stuff kind of like his father did. It just kind of made everything make sense to me.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was very, like you said, it was very well written. I mean, it was very well documented, how this took place. But wow, some of the things that we got to see or, experience and get to check out, it was like, oh my God, like who would have thought that Tiger's dad, was doing this behind his back and he's watching as a young kid. He was young.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it wasn't like he was older enough and he really kind of knew what was going on. His dad's friends kind of, kept him in that bubble from this. But, Tiger knew. Tiger wasn't stupid. Talking about his first girlfriend and their relationship and how it was just kind of just cut off. Wow. I mean, I don't know. Is that the price you pay to be a famous athlete?
I mean, I think they mentioned it quite a bit in both parts. You know, his dad wanted to make a machine, a golf machine, and so to me, what I enjoyed most about it is kind of, you know, a walk down memory lane. You know, I remember when Tiger was winning tournaments at the top of his game because I've always been watching golf, you know, whether with my dad or anything like that. You know, golf has always been a big part of my life, and Tiger is a big reason for that. I mean, most of the people that are interested in golf today, you know, have Tiger to thank for that.
Yep.
He was the superstar that golf needed after Jack and Arnie and all those guys stopped playing. Golf needed Tiger, and I think I said it in my post. You know, more importantly, Tiger needed golf, and they alluded to it. You know, golf was kind of his outlet that he could go to, and it was just him and the course.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I understand that completely. You notice when he started getting into his drug issues and his alcohol issues, it was when he was injured. When he was getting injured, he couldn't go play golf. He didn't have that outlet that he could go to get away from his everyday problems. And you know, it was great to see. And one thing that I've really enjoyed this year is seeing a different side of Tiger where he's having fun. And especially that weekend where he got to play the golf tournament with his son Charlie. Yep. It was awesome to see, and the joy on his face seeing Charlie, you know, succeed and do some incredible things, which Charlie's way better than me at golf, and I think he's better than most of the population at golf. But it was a lot of fun to see. And you know, I think it was a perfect timing for the documentary to come out because we get to see this side of Tiger and now understand, you know, everything that he went through that led to this point.
You know, I think me watching Tiger, you know, I think it was like 2000 when he first kind of started coming, was the fact that how it changed golf completely. The people that started watching golf, women, young kids, started to inspire to be like him, just like you said. But man, the change it made so quickly, whether you're black, white, Hispanic, whatever, you were now into golf and that was going to be your sport. And to see these kids, and now, like you said, yourself, I know some other friends of mine that have their kids that play golf, and it's truly because of Tiger Woods. To see this documentary, see how it was made, and you know, the struggle, of course, with the drug abuse, but also the drinking. I mean, we saw him get pulled over and we saw the video footage, and it was so heartbreaking to see that. You know, but everybody makes a mistake. Everybody has some kind of mishap that happens, and does it damage their career? Yes and no, maybe so. I don't know, but you're right. Tiger needed golf just like Kobe Bryant needed basketball. That is something I will never forget after the whole Colorado thing with Kobe, him playing here in San Antonio. Obviously, I used to work there, but you know, being in that atmosphere and watching what was happening to him right before he would go onto the court. Multiple people screaming rapists, people wearing orange jumpsuits, people, you know, just yelling at him at the top of his lungs. It was like, these people are just ordinary people. They make a mistake. You know, nobody will ever know the truth but Kobe Bryant and that girl. You know, nobody can ever judge. Obviously, he's been judged and they found him not guilty, but some of the stuff that these athletes go through, they're human. They're human. They make a mistake, and it's so sad how they're ridiculed throughout their career, or their career takes that, you know, fall, you know, the sponsorships and stuff. You know, Tiger Woods didn't lose as many sponsorships as we probably would have thought he did. He didn't. Nike stuck with him, and boy, have they never looked back from it. You know, Kobe Bryant lost a lot of sponsorships, but then at the same time, he still had some of those great relationships that said, you know what, you made a mistake. Here you do, go on and do better. And both of those documentaries, obviously, you know, the Tiger Woods one, and if you ever seen Kobe's documentary, I mean, it tells you like it is. And I think HBO has done a great job. I even think HBO did the Kobe Bryant one, if I'm not mistaken. But wow, I was impressed, and I saw your comment on it, and I knew we had to touch on it just a little bit. But another documentary I don't know if you have seen is Tony Parker on Netflix.
No, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, that one's pretty good too. I know your grandma, who and Judy, I know you're probably listening. I know Cindy's listening, but I want to say first off, before we get into Tony Parker, which is one of her favorite players, I want to wish you best well wishes on your injuries. Obviously, she sustained a fall and had some crazy little injuries, but and Judy, I hope you get better. I know if you're watching or listening, my heart goes out to you. I love you. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. But yeah, Tony Parker has this documentary on Netflix and takes you behind the scenes of how he kind of got started. Has to go along with his book, actually. And, Kobe Bryant makes an appearance in there. David Robinson, Tim Duncan, Manu, shows his San Antonio home here and his kids and his relationship and everything like that that's going on, of course, with Eva and everything else. So, that might be something you want to check out too. But this is always fun talking sports with you, and I just can't wait for the MLB to start. There's just something else to talk about, but right now, obviously, we kind of narrowed it down for a Rookie of the Year. Who do you think wins MVP so far in the NBA?
Ooh, it's so hard it's really extremely hard to kind of decide right now. I mean,
games in.
Yeah, I mean, Joel Embiid is playing at an outrageous level. LeBron is always going to be in that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It obviously Giannis is going to be in the conversation.
Talk about Joel Embiid. Do you think it's because, no offense to the prior coach, because the prior coach had connections to San Antonio, but do you think Doc Rivers has helped him?
I'm almost certain that he has helped him. One thing that I haven't seen this year is there hasn't really been how should I say, an issue with Joel Embiid yet this year, where he's usually a very outspoken person, and his mouth has gotten him in trouble sometimes, and you haven't seen that. I think he's found a way of balancing his game and his personal life. And I'm sure Doc Rivers has a lot to do with that. He's one of the most well-respected coaches in the NBA, and he has a very, very high character standard. And I could definitely see Doc Rivers being a huge, huge reason that we are seeing the Joel Embiid that we are seeing this year.
Yeah. Speaking of documentaries, have you seen Doc Rivers documentary on it?
No, I haven't.
It's about.
I'm always looking for new documentaries to watch. I still need to watch the CC Sabathia documentary. I still need to watch a lot of different ones, but I'm always looking to see a new documentary.
The one with Doc Rivers is about coaching, and I think there's Don Staley, a few others that come out in there. And I tell you what, man, it talks about his, relationships and all his teams that he's ever played for. And it's called actually A Playbook, A Coach's Rules for Life. And he's season 1, episode 1. And talks about his, I didn't know this, but his house burned down here in San Antonio. And, was set to be arson investigated and stuff like that. And, he was a big time player here in San Antonio. And I really, really miss Doc Rivers and, the way he got pushed out of the Clippers, let go and stuff like that. But hey, he's over there in Philly making it happen. And I really think they're going to stay number 1 in the Eastern Conference. And you know what? I really, truly believe he helps Joe Embiid get that MVP finally.
I think so as well.
I think he does. But Aaron, it's been fun. Oh, yeah. Your mom just said, yep. Watch CC Sabathia's the other night. Oh, wow. She watched a Yankee.
Wow. I haven't watched it yet, but my mom has. Wow. That's interesting. I wasn't expecting that.
Cindy watched a Yankees a Yankees documentary. Oh my goodness. No wonder it's snowing. No wonder.
No, I have a lot of respect for CC Sabathia. You know, a guy that was very outspoken about his addictions and took time off of baseball to go treat himself. And you know, I might have to give it a watch tonight since my mom's already watched it, because usually I watch it and then give her the recommendation like I did with the Tiger documentary. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to give that a look.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what we're going to be watching for the next 2-3 days that we're stuck indoors. I know in San Antonio we are. You know, that's probably what we're going to be doing, watching sports documentaries. But I'm definitely going to check out CC's. You need to check out CC's, obviously. Maybe even Doc Rivers. But oh wow, I'll tell you what, our family's kind of crazy. But I'm so excited. You know, Cindy got to watch a Yankees players documentary. I'm kind of excited. Doesn't completely hate the Yankees. He's gonna watch too. That's good. Our other cousin's gonna watch too.
Awesome.
It's always fun hanging out with you. I love that we get to hang out this way and see each other. So once again, this show was dedicated to Margaret Quintanilla. Thank you, Miss Quintanilla, for all your great memories. Your Nana, Los Comadres. They're partying up in heaven without us. It's okay. We'll be there someday soon. And Judy, I hope you get better from your injuries. We're definitely praying for you and miss you. I miss my buddy. That's my Spurs buddy. And Judy, Spurs buddy. But we're definitely going to go eat at Little Red Barn soon. I promise. When you get better, we're going to go eat at Little Red Barn. Maybe you can come, Aaron. Maybe you can come back down to San Antonio for a little bit.
Maybe.
Yep. All right, Aaron, it's been fun. Everybody watching, thank you. Oh, yes, dancing together. Yes, they are already. Yes, they are. Cindy, they are dancing. Aaron, again, it's been fun. Stay warm. I know Texas is under some crazy weather. Are you getting snow yet?
So I think it snowed for a couple minutes. We were supposed to get a lot, but I think it turned more into sleet than anything. I walked out there for a little bit. It's definitely icy. I'm not getting on the road anytime soon. But you know, we'll see what happens. I think it's supposed to snow a little bit on Tuesday and Wednesday also, but it's definitely an interesting time in the state of Texas.
Yeah, you know, what's funny is I posted some videos earlier of me trying to go to the store, and I don't have an ice pick. I don't have an ice scraper. I have one when I lived in South Dakota, but don't have them anymore. Familiar with driving in the ice and the snow, but yeah, I had to use my spatula out my window because my dumb butt forgot stuff at HEB. But hey, whatever. It's down the street. I'll be all right.
Right.
And came back, and now it's time to hibernate for 2 days here because, you know, San Antonio can't do nothing in the sleet or snow.
Mm-hmm.
But it's gonna be fun, and so we'll check out these documentaries, and hopefully we can do this again soon. I know we'll have a lot more to talk about once sports wraps up again and get going. NCAA tournament is going in the bubble, gonna stay in one central location. What do you think about that, real quick?
I think one of the most disappointing things last year was the fact that the NCAA tournament was canceled. So, you know, any way that we're able to have it is something that I am all for. You know, the guys being in Indianapolis and the girls being in San Antonio. It's going to be interesting. I've been actually watching a lot of college basketball recently because, you know, it's been on, and, you know, normally I don't get to see, or I don't really pay attention to it until it gets closer to March, but I've actually really been following it. It also helps that my Cougars are, you know, top 10 and playing really good basketball. And, you know, hopefully we'll be able to pull something out, but it's going to be very hard to beat Gonzaga and Baylor. I can't see any scenario where they're not the final two teams standing.
Hey, you never know, man. March Madness, you never know. Selection Monday, obviously March 15th. I can't wait. That's a big time for basketball, whether you're men's, women's team. You're right. San Antonio is going to host it. It's going to be amazing. 63 of the 64 games are on TV. ESPN's going to be rolling into the Alamo Dome pretty soon. And it's pretty weird because they talked about the setup. Some of the games are going to be played at the Alamo Dome, St. Mary's University, which is here in San Antonio. And then, of course, they're using UT Austin and San Marcos for the women's rounds 1. And then 2 will be played throughout San Antonio. And then 3 and 4 will be strictly played in the Alamo Dome. And Aaron, I love basketball. I'm in heaven. I'm going to be in March, and I'm so excited. I can't wait. Hopefully my UConn team comes to town and sticks around for quite a while, like Easter, because then that, they'll be in the Final Four. I hope your Zags can pull it off. Cindy, I really do. I hope they can. But, I hope Houston, pulls off a miracle, Aaron, for you. And, Cinderella story, here we come.
It's great. U of H actually just brought back the old Phi Slamma Jamma stuff. They have a whole new clothesline for the Phi Slamma Jamma, and I'm not ordering anything online, but I need to get down there and make sure I get some of that gear because it's awesome.
Wow, that is like really, really throwback. I mean, what, Akeem Olajuwon, Drexler,
Drexler, all those guys. So, I think they are in that kind of era where they're starting to get successful and feel really good about basketball. And obviously Kelvin Sampson has just done such a great job with U of H, and they've put money into the program with the new Fertitta Center. And I'm really excited for the tournament. They're projected to be a number 2 seed this year, which is the highest they've been in the last couple years. So I'm really excited to get going and watch them play. They've had some slip ups, but I'd rather slip up now than in March. So let's go out there up the Cougs.
Well, we're definitely going to have to do a show then for sure for NCAA, but I know basketball is going to get, going more. So do they really need an all-star game this year?
I don't think so, especially with the short season. I don't think the players want the all-star game. So it's just, I would love to see the dunk contest and the 3-point contest and all that kind of stuff, but I just don't see any need for an all-star game.
So if they do have the 3-point contest, who wins?
Oh, it would really depend on who's doing it.
Because they're going to be in there. The two in there.
Yeah, so it's really going to depend on who's playing in it. I try to pick one every year when I see who's doing it, but you can't beat the dunk contest. The dunk contest is one of the best best events in sports. So, but if there's no all-star game, there's probably not going to be an all-star weekend. So it's either one or the other. But I don't see any reason for an all-star game this season.
Yeah, you're able to vote or whatever right now, but I don't know. I just don't see it. It's not fan-based. Nobody can really be there. It's not going to be enjoyable. There's no all-star weekend to enjoy all the festivities, and I just can't really see it, but it is what it is. But we shall see what happens. We'll definitely be talking about it pretty soon. I know you got a crazy work schedule, but we're definitely going to come back on and talk sports again.
Of course.
Enjoy your Dr. Pepper because everybody's making
I noticed that we were both drinking it.
Our cousin Patty called us out on it. Man, you're related when you're both drinking Dr. Pepper. Well, yes, we are related. Aaron, it's fun. I love you, man. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for everybody for watching, and enjoy King's Court with JJ, special guest Aaron. Like us on Facebook and on YouTube channel now. I got a YouTube channel, so I'm stepping up in the world.
All right.
All right, guys. Well, have a good night. Thanks for watching, and got to do this again, buddy.
Absolutely.
All right. Have a good night.
You too.